Recently, this TikTok went viral. In it, a wealth manager claimed the following.
£120,000 is probably one of the worst salaries you can get in the UK.
Probably as no surprise, the internet went mad. But whilst everyone was calling for tiny violins or discussing whether the tax system in the UK was a joke, I discovered something far more shocking when I dug into the latest UK salary data. By the time you finish watching this video, you'll know exactly where you stand in Britain's income hierarchy. Let's start with the headline figure that defined modern Britain. The median full-time salary right now in the UK is £37,430. This means that half of full-time workers earn more than this and the other half earn less. For all employees, including part-time workers, the median drops to £31,602. In a country where the typical monthly rent is £1,308, the typical worker earning at or below the median, living on their own, is almost consuming 50% of their entire pre-tax income on rent alone. No wonder why most of society is struggling. The real story, however, emerges when we look at the income distribution. So the bottom 10% of earners make just £27,763. Meanwhile, the top 10% threshold sits at £72,150. That is a staggering gap of nearly £50,000 between the bottom and top deciles. Now, here is where it gets even more interesting. To be in the top 5% of UK earners, you need to make around £87,000. And to join the elite 1%, you're looking at approximately £174,000 annually. These figures reveal just how concentrated wealth has become in modern Britain. The employment landscape tells a tale of two nations. Full-time employees, representing the core of Britain's workforce, have a median salary of £37,430. But dig deeper into the data and you'll find some uncomfortable truths. Part-time workers, who still represent millions of Britons, have a median weekly wage of just £263, translating to £13,676 annually. The mean average for part-time workers is slightly higher at £16,830, but we're still talking about very low wages in a country where basic living costs continue to soar. And also, the gap between full-time and part-time work isn't just about the hours, it's about access to career progression, benefits, and financial security. Full-time workers have a mean average salary of £45,836, significantly higher than their median. This is indicating that high earners at the top are pulling the average up substantially. One of the most revealing aspects of UK salary data is how earnings change across different life stages. The pattern tells a story of gradual progression, peak earning years, and then a gentle decline. Workers aged 18 to 21 start their careers with median earnings of £22,306. This then jumps significantly for the 22 to 29 age group, reaching £34,724. reflecting the impact of gaining experience, qualifications, and moving into more skilled roles. The 30 to 39 age bracket then sees further growth up to £45,105 as workers typically hit their stride professionally. Peak earnings then come between your 40th and your 49th birthday, with median salaries reaching £50,927. Interestingly, the 50 to 59 cohort see a slight dip down to £50,284, whilst those over 60 earn less at £46,524 on average. This age earnings profile reveals several critical insights. First, it takes decades to reach peak earnings potential in the UK. Second, the biggest jump occurs between your 20s and 30s. And then third, earnings plateau or even decline in your later stages of your career, making it crucial for workers to maximise their earning potential during peak earning years. Perhaps nowhere is modern Britain's inequality more stark than in regional pay differences. Data reveals a country effectively split into different economic worlds. London dominates the salary landscape with a median full-time earning of £47,455, a massive 26.8% premium over the national average. The South East follows with £39,038, still above the national average. Then Scotland manages £38,315, making it only one of 3 areas outside the southeast to exceed the UK median. At the bottom of the regional table sits the northeast at £32,960, a staggering £14,495 gap with London. This means that by August, the average London worker will have earned the same as what a North East worker earns in an entire year. The Centre for Cities Research reveals the brutal mathematics of regional inequality. Average annual salaries in the South East are £12,800 higher than in places like Burnley, Huddersfield and Middlesbrough. In London, the premium is nearly £20,000. This disparity stems from the concentration of cutting-edge private sector jobs in southern cities. London and Cambridge have nearly twice as many innovative firms and nearly 3 times as many more advanced jobs in sectors like biotech and AI compared to lower paying areas. And only 7 places outside the southeast have salaries above the UK average. These are Leeds, Warrington, Derby, Swindon, Bristol, Aberdeen and Edinburgh. This geographic concentration of high-paying work has profound implications for social mobility and regional development. The UK's highest paying industries reveal the modern economy's priorities and power structures. According to a Free Search Salary Survey, the highest paying industries in 2025 are dominated by technology, financial services and senior level roles in several other sectors. Technology leads the pack with an average salary of £90,000, reflecting high demand for niche skills in SaaS, fintech, cybersecurity and health tech. Financial services then follows closely at £88,000, driven by regulatory complexity and a limited talent pool, followed by travel, leisure and entertainment at £82,000, and also media and telecommunications, again at £82,000. You've then got healthcare, including health tech and insurance at £78,000, closely followed by fast-moving consumer goods. These figures underscore a dual economy in which specialised senior positions command salaries roughly 3 to 4 times higher than many traditional roles. At the other end of the spectrum, traditional sectors like retail, hospitality and care work continue to offer significantly lower wages. The accommodation and food service activities industry showed the strongest wage growth in 2024 at 9.8%, largely driven by minimum wage increases and labour shortages. However, from a low base, these workers still struggle to achieve middle-class living standards. According to a Euronews analysis of ONS data published in May 2025, the very top of Britain's salary pyramid is dominated by a small number of senior roles, whose median annual earnings far exceed the national average. At the summit, we have chief executives and senior officials who earn a median gross annual salary of £88,056. Close behind, we've got marketing, sales and advertising directors commanding £87,309 per year. And then you've got information technology directors with a take-home pay of £86,033 annually. These leadership positions underscore the premium placed on strategic responsibility and revenue generation. Among highly skilled specialists, aircraft pilots and air traffic controllers rank next, with a median earnings of £80,414 per annum, reflecting the critical expertise their roles demand. The medical profession also features prominently, with specialist medical practitioners earning around £74,979 per year. Head teachers and principals also make top 6, with the median pay of £71,064, highlighting the responsibilities involved in leading educational institutions. What is striking is how concentrated these top earnings are. Each of these roles offer roughly 2 to 3 times the national median average. Yet, despite these substantial figures, these professionals remain salaried employees, rather than members of the ultra-wealthy class whose income derives primarily from capital. What's also notably absent from this list are management consultants and lawyers, and other high-paying roles, even though both professions routinely command 6-figure earnings. The reason for this is that a large portion operate as self-employed contractors, often through personal service companies, rather than as pay-as-you-earn employees, and so their pay transactions are not captured by the ONS surveys of pay-as-you-earn reported earnings. You'll also note that the CEO salaries are lower than you may expect. This is because it's the median across the UK, both large and small firms. not just the CEOs of blue chip firms who earn millions of pounds. Similar with all of the other roles presented. Now here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Despite these impressive salary figures, many high earners report feeling financially squeezed. The 120k salary controversy mentioned at the start of the video reveals a deeper truth about modern British economics. Multiple factors contribute to this phenomenon. First, tax progression means that higher earnings face marginal rates that can exceed 60% when personal allowance withdrawal is factored in. It can even be as high as 77% when you consider NI and student loans. Second, housing costs in high salary areas like London consume enormous proportions of people's income. And then third, lifestyle inflation and social expectations create spending pressure that scale with income growth. Let's consider someone earning a really good salary of £100,000 in London. After income tax, national insurance and typical deductions, they might take home around 65 to 68k. However, their housing costs could easily consume £30,000, leaving them with 35 to 38,000 for all other expenses. And while this is still substantial, this does provide a middle class rather than a wealthy lifestyle. And this explains why income quartiles matter more than absolute figures. Being in the top 25% of earners requiring around £50,636 provides genuine financial comfort in most parts of the UK. Being in the top 10% at £72,150 delivers clear affluence. But even top 5% earners on £87,000 may not feel rich given contemporary living costs. By 2027, total tax revenues in the UK are forecast to climb to 37.7% of GDP, the highest level on record, up from 36.9% in 2023-2024. Income tax alone is set to yield £330.7 billion in 2025-2026, equivalent to 11% of national income and around £11,500 per household, with the personal allowance frozen at £12,570 and the higher rate threshold still at £50,270. These increased tax burdens dampen real wage growth, which after inflation has slowed to just 1.1% in 2025, and does erode the incentive to seek pay rises or negotiate higher salaries, especially for professionals hovering around the higher rate thresholds where every extra pound can attract an effective rate of 60%, thus essentially disincentivizing people from wanting to progress their careers or even work overtime. Despite record net migration of 431,000 people in 2024, driven largely by non-EU work and study visas, the UK has experienced significant emigration among high-skill and high-earning cohorts. Tax-driven departures of entrepreneurs, executives and skilled professionals exacerbate labour shortages in large growth areas, with 16,500 millionaires expected to leave the UK in 2025 alone, as high earners relocate to lower tax jurisdictions or shift to remote roles based elsewhere. The immediate loss of skilled labour further drags down output per hour and undermines the government's stated aims of boosting productivity through higher wages and greater workforce participation. This all has some severe implications for future salary evolution. First, we've got tax-driven wage restraint. Rising tax revenues and static thresholds will continue to stifle take-home pay growth, particularly for those that earn in near the higher rate bands. Second, fiscal drag and brain drain. Allowance thresholds frozen until at least 2028, more workers will be pulled into higher tax brackets, increasing emigration risk amongst those most sensitive to net income losses. Third, we've got productivity challenges. The continued outflow of skilled labour threatens to perpetuate the UK's sluggish productivity performance, undermining wage growth and economic competitiveness. Understanding where you fit in Britain's salary distribution provides crucial context for financial and career decisions. But raw salary figures only tell part of the story. Location, age, industry and career stage all influence your actual financial position. Think about it, a £40,000 salary at Newcastle provides very different living standards than the same amount in London. For career planning, the data suggests focusing on high growth industries like technology, finance, and professional services. And developing skills that can't be easily automated or outsourced provides the best long-term security. Geographic mobility also remains crucial for maximising earning potential. Whilst regional pay gaps create inequality, they also represent opportunities for those willing and able to relocate. And finally, education and training investments pay substantial dividends over time. The £120,000 salary controversy that started this investigation reveals how disconnected public discourse can become from economic reality. And while high earners do face genuine challenges, they remain privileged compared to the millions of British people struggling on median wages or below. Whether you're earning £25,000 or £100,000, understanding your place in Britain's income distribution helps you to make better decisions about your career, finances, and your future. The numbers don't lie, but they do tell a complex story about opportunity, inequality, and aspiration in modern Britain. Now, if you'd like to understand why 120k is supposedly the worst salary in the UK, I'd highly encourage you to watch this video on the topic here. Please also share this video with friends that will find it beneficial. Until next time, ta-ra.